Just give us kind of a description on what CJ's going through and how that'll hinder his availability Thursday.
Yes, his wrist hurts and struggled today to hold a ball, so we'll see how he is tomorrow.
Obviously, if he doesn't go, not able to go, Nick, and then activate Savage.
Yes, and we feel. I mean, CJ would be good if we're playing on Sunday, but it's going to be a test for Thursday, and probably won't know until then.
How ready is Nick Mullens? I know he hasn't gotten a whole lot of number one snaps here, but how ready would he be if you're forced in that direction?
As ready as you can be. I mean, Nick works his tail off, whether he was on practice squad all last year, some of this year, since he's been his two. I mean, Nick's a very smart guy who works at it nonstop, and he'll be able to go in there and execute the offense and knows what he's doing.
What drew you to Nick in the first place? What do you like about Nick?
What's that?
What drew you to Nick in the first place?
Just studying him on college, our personnel department and Rich, brought him to us because they found Scangarello, our quarterback coach. Watched a lot of film on him. Got to play a ton, played at a high level. He was very consistent in what he did. He played in more of a spread offense, but you could see how hard he would compete when running the ball and things like that, even though that wasn't his number one strength. But also could play in the pocket when they asked him to. I remember one thing that we liked, I forget whether it was the East-West game or another one of those all-star games, but I remember Rich telling me, interviewed him, asking him how he got ready for that game, and he had to look up on YouTube how to do drops and stuff under center because he was always in gun throughout college. But that's the type of guy he was. He's going to figure it out. He's going to work all day to figure out on his own, and with the help of coaches and stuff, he takes that as well as anyone.
How did you assess his performance during the preseason?
I thought he played well in the preseason. He did good. Nick comes in there, moves the chains, competes hard, made some plays with his legs and his arm. Guys believe in him, and he's as competitive and confident as a guy I've been around. And if he needs to play this week, he'll be on it.
Would the entire playbook be open, Kyle, if he were forced in that role?
Yes. When you say the entire playbook, I mean, that just means, does he know everything? Can he spit it out? And Nick's as good as that. I mean, he's been here for a year and a half, the whole time we've been here. So Nick's as prepared to call the plays and get everyone in the right spots as anyone we could have out there.
Was CJ hurt in the final play against Cardinals?
No, he hurt his helmet. He hit his hand on a helmet in, I want to say, the second quarter.
That scenario means that Tom Savage might have to be the number two guy. Where is he in his learning process?
He's 3 weeks into it, so not nearly as far as other people I mentioned. Just the whole offense and everything, that would have to be limited just because that's too much for a guy to learn, and any guy in the world to me in this amount of time. Just spitting it out and calling the plays and get everyone lined up and knowing where people are. So you'd have to tail back a little bit on that. But, if he's been working hard, he doesn't get a ton of reps, as no third guy does. But he gets a lot after, just on air and stuff with some of the receivers. And he's been working and preparing for it. So if his number's up, he'll be ready.
You going to make any trades in the next 30 minutes that you're aware of?
I know our guys are working their tails off. They're on the phones, and they'll be doing that all the way up to the time. But as of right now, no.
Kyle, did you know during the game CJ's wrist was bothering him, or was it just until after?
It's after, yeah.
What you obviously began with Gruden. What was that experience like?
It was great. That was the first place I ever coached in the NFL. I got to start out at UCLA. I was there for about 6 months, just one season, and then got to go to Tampa, and I was with Jon for 2 years. That's where, I grew up in a football house, being the son of a head coach. But that was the first time I ever worked in a building from a football standpoint, and it was as good of a place as I could ever go. They were 2 years out, or 1 year removed from winning the Super Bowl. Went there with Jon, who was just doing a ton of things offensively, and I was the quality control, so I had to do all that grunt work and draw all the playbooks, break down all the film, and every building's different. You're a product of your environment. But it was such a good place for me to go to because Jon was doing everything. You know, it wasn't just his stuff. He was on top of it with the film, which everyone is now because of the computers and everything. But he was one of the first guys doing that stuff, probably being a little bit younger than most guys at that time, and just introduced me to pretty much every play known to man. I had to draw them all. I had to make books on them. That's where you put in you pay your dues and do all that stuff. And the fact I was doing it for Jon, I got experience with just about everything. And, you know, on top of Jon, just that building, you know, the defensive staff that I was able to be around, you know, the defense staff, you know, included Monty Kiffin and Tomlin and Rod Marinelli and Joe Barry and Raheem Morris, Joe Woods. You know, there's a ton of guys in that building that it was 2 years that I owe a lot to my foundation of what I do.
That first year when you were there looking through all the offense, how new was it? How complex was it that you had to break it down?
Extremely. I mean, just like it is for players when they come in, it is for a coach too. When you come in, you don't know what any of the words mean. It sounds like a foreign language, and no one's going to sit there with you and take all day to teach you either. You gotta figure it out. You gotta read the books before and try to learn it. You gotta watch film. Jon just come in on a Tuesday morning at, you know, somewhere around 4:30 or 5 and drop a list off on your desk with about 140 drop back passes you got to draw. And back then it was basically all dust super paint. It was something which probably no one has heard of. I think it was copyrighted in 1986. I'm not joking. So you had to sit there and do that all. That's what I did the first year. It took forever. We got a better program the second year. But that you just sat in a room and you did that really till 10 at night, and then you tried to break down film after and listen to a lot of music and learn a lot of ball.
When you're an entry-level guy, would you try to beat the head coach into the office?
No, I didn't try. I tried to stay there later than him. But if it's hard to stay somewhere till 1 and come in at 4. People act like they do. But they find ways to people don't function on 3 hours of sleep 7 days a week, no matter what they say.
It seemed like Gruden would be a guy that could give a young guy some crap. Did you have some give and take with him, or what was that, I guess, personal relationship like?
Jon was great. Yeah, Jon, I mean, you know, I think Jon likes to give people crap just like I do. It's kind of hard to communicate just man to man if you're not messing with each other. So I think I fit in pretty well with that with Jon, and had a fun 2 years with him. Haven't got to see him much since. You know, it was cool when we'd do Monday night games. It was kind of different. He was always the guy I'm doing the broadcast meetings with, but he was a great coach. I know he had a hell of a deal there with Monday Night Football, but I know he's a coach at heart, and I'm real happy to see him back in the league.
How has his system evolved with the 10 years being away? How does it look now?
Well, I mean, Jon lives and dies football, so it wasn't ever. He never got away from it. You know, he probably had even more time to sit and look at everything. You know, and not get so caught up in his own team. So, you know, the whole league's evolved since then. It evolves year to year. But you watch his system, and you know, he has a foundation of what he used to do and things like that. But he's kept up with everything, and he's mixing in whatever's working with everyone else week to week. He's finding a way to implement it in his offense also.
You said on Sunday that Pierre was on track to play in this game. Is that still the case? And as far as the trade stuff, do you need to have a talk with him, or is he better?
Yeah, I communicate with P on everything, and you know, it's he's still here, and there's 21 minutes left, so I feel pretty confident that he's going to be here. And you know, I'm excited about that. Pierre's excited about that. You know, he still is limited today, but I think he'll be good to go. I'll be surprised if he can't make it on Thursday.
What was your evaluation when Derek Carr came out? You were looking at quarterbacks. How did you evaluate him?
I was a big fan of Derek, and I think like everyone was. You know, there was a number of quarterbacks who came out that year. I don't think I can talk about them too much. It's illegal. But no, I remember flying down there to Fresno. We worked him out, a number of us. Got to go out to dinner with him. You know, I knew his brother because I coached in Houston with his brother for 1 year. So great family and a very good player.
Will Richard Sherman be available Thursday night?
I'm not sure. He's limited today too. Hope so. But with these few days of rest, it's we really probably won't know on any of these guys till Thursday. And we got 2 practices, and there won't be 1 full speed practice. There's just not enough time for these guys to recover. So first time we'll run full speed is Thursday. So on these Thursday games, it's not something you can go out and test these guys very well. You got to talk to them, communicate with them. You don't want to decide now because we're barely 2 days removed from a game. So we got to take that all the way up to Thursday, and if their bodies can go, we'll go. And the good thing about Thursday is that we'll get 11 days before our next game. So even though it's a challenge now, I know our team going this long without a bye week or a Thursday night game, we do need some rest. So we're going to get a few days after this. Then we'll play 11 days later on Monday Night Football. Then we get our bye week. So after this game, I think we have one game in 24 days. So it's been a grind to get to this point. There is a break coming up, but we got to finish this out and get one.
In terms of the trade deadline, how much do you factor in the temperature of the locker room and personalities? And, if you trade somebody, maybe somebody looks at that the wrong way and maybe gets disgruntled. How much have your finger on the pulse of things like that?
I think I have my finger on the pulse of that stuff a lot. I think about it a lot. I think I could put myself in other people's shoes pretty well, and I do worry about that stuff a lot. But no matter how soft you can get in that type of area, you can relate and understand, but you always got to go to block that out and what helps our organization, what helps us now, what helps us in the future. And you can communicate with everyone, and you love to explain yourself to people, and you always know people won't always understand, but myself, Jon, our number one responsibility is to this organization. So every decision that we make is going to be in the best interest of the organization, and I hope that can tie into the best interest of individuals also.
Have you been happy with Tarvarius Moore and Marcel Harris, two DBs who may be getting more playing time here pretty soon?
Yes, they're coming along. Tarvarius Moore has done a very good job on special teams for us. Hasn't gotten his opportunity out there at corner, with guys down and stuff. And it's the more guys get hurt, the quicker his opportunity will come. So it's bound to happen. It's been very close here. Could happen this week. But regardless, he's making a push anyways with the effort and the intensity he's playing on special teams, the way he looks in practice each week. And, I'm excited about Tarvarius. And then, who's the other guy? Yes,
Marcel.
And then Marcel, we got to make a decision on him. He's been out there practicing the last 2 weeks. Haven't made that yet. But he's making it, he's got a chance, and hopefully we'll get him back here to finish it up for us this year.
What about a decision on Dakota?
Yep, Dakota is out there practicing. We don't have to make that this week, but we can do that by Thursday. So we'll see how these walkthroughs go and what our roster is like. And, to get both of those guys up, we got to let people go too. And so it's a huge dilemma when you got a number of guys down that might not play. But if you can't put them on IR, or you got to cut people to put people up. So all this stuff kind of plays into that, not just where Dakota and Marcel are at.
With your issues at strong safety, is it possible that Marcel might not only be up, but could be starting?
Yes, everything's possible. We lost our first strong safety and our backup strong safety last week. They're not ruled out for the game yet, but anytime that on a Thursday night, if you're in the protocol on Monday, it's extremely hard to make it on Thursday. So I'll just rule X out now. Tart, we'll see. But it's probably doubtful.
How much does your
About next time, you would rule him out?
Yeah, I'd rule him out now. It's how it works on a Thursday night game. So,
how much does the record impact your urgency in terms of getting guys back?
That doesn't really affect my decision right now. We're in the middle of the year, and I want to get guys back as fast as possible to help us get a win. I also want to get guys back as fast as possible to get guys better. There's two things that go into everything, and right now it's about what can we do to get a win and what can we do to build guys and get them better. And the way you get better is you get out there and play. Whether you do good or you do bad, as long as you look at it the right way and you get something from it, you can get better from that. But the only way to do that is to be healthy and get out there.